Radiation kills cancer. But it has one terrible flaw. It cannot tell a tumor from the healthy tissue around it. A beam of radiation damages whatever it passes through. Point it at a tumor buried deep in the body, and it has to travel through centimeters of living tissue to get there, and then out the other side. Everything in its path takes damage. For decades, that was the central problem of radiation therapy. How do you deliver a lethal dose to a lump the size of a grape sitting next to a spinal cord, an eye, or a piece of healthy brain without wrecking everything else? The answer was not a stronger beam. It was a smarter aim. Modern radiation therapy is really a precision story, an arms race in targeting. Machines that cross dozens of weak beams so they only add up on the tumor. Robots that chase a target as it moves. Beams reshaped breath by breath to the exact outline of the thing they are hunting. Particles tuned to stop at a chosen depth. The goal is always the same. Concentrate everything on the cancer, spare everything else. In this video, we'll take apart the machines that make that possible, starting with one that performs brain surgery without ever cutting you open. Start with the most extreme example, a machine that treats tumors deep in the brain without a single incision. It surrounds your head with around 200 separate beams of gamma radiation. Each one is weak. Any single beam passes through the skull and brain and does little harm on its own, but every beam is aimed at the same tiny point. Where they all cross, the dose adds up to something powerful enough to destroy a tumor just millimeters wide. They call it a knife, but nothing ever touches you. That is the core trick of the whole field. Make each beam harmless and let them add up only on the target. Other machines do it by moving. One mounts a small radiation source on a robotic arm, the kind that builds cars, and circles your body, firing short bursts from 1,000 angles, all converging on the tumor. But a beam is only as good as its shape. So inside the machine sits a bank of about 120 tungsten leaves, each sliding on its own, forming a moving stencil. They mold the beam into the exact outline of your tumor and reshape it continuously as the machine arcs around you. And none of this works if you move, which is why for brain treatments, a mesh mask is molded to your face and clamped to the table, holding you still to less than a millimeter.
Aiming in space is only half the problem. The target will not hold still, and the beam does not always stop where you want it. Take a tumor in the lung. Every breath moves it, sometimes by centimeters. Firing a fixed beam would mean spraying dose across everything it drifts through. So, the machine watches the tumor with live imaging and fires only during one narrow slice of your breathing, the settled pause after you breathe out, when the target returns to the same spot. Breathe in, the beam waits, settle, and it fires. Some patients simply hold their breath, freezing the target for a few seconds at a time. Then there's depth. An ordinary X-ray beam dumps radiation along its entire path and keeps going, out the far side of you. But a beam made of protons behaves differently. A proton races in, barely touching the tissue in front of it, and then releases almost all of its energy in one sharp burst at a chosen depth and stops. Tune its speed, and you decide exactly how deep that burst lands. Beyond it, almost nothing. That's precious when a tumor sits just in front of something you cannot damage. And there's a newer idea still being tested, delivering the entire dose in less than a second. At that speed, the radiation appears to spare healthy tissue while still killing the tumor. If it holds up, Speed itself becomes a way to protect you.
So far, every machine has fired from outside the body. But there is another way to be precise. Put the radiation inside the tumor itself. For some cancers, the prostate is the classic case. Doctors implant dozens of radioactive seeds directly into the tissue. Each is smaller than a grain of rice. Placed through thin needles and spaced with care, they irradiate the tumor from within, day and night, while barely reaching anything further away. Over months, they run out of radiation and fall silent, and they simply stay there, permanently harmless. Put all of this together, and you can see how far the aim has come. Crossing beams, moving robots, beams reshaped to your outline, targets tracked breath by breath, particles that stop at a chosen depth, seeds buried in the tumor itself. And precision changes the treatment. When you can concentrate the dose so tightly, you no longer always need a long, gentle course spread over many weeks. Some tumors can now be treated in just a handful of sharp, pinpoint sessions, because the aim is finally good enough to trust. Radiation therapy has never really been about the beam. It's been about control, about taking something that cannot tell friend from enemy and aiming it so well that it only ever finds the target. The full breakdown of each machine is in the shorts on this channel. Tell us which one surprised you most.